Good evening, everybody. This is Daily Recall for June 11th, 2026. I'm Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario. Hot one today. I don't mind. I don't mind sweating a little. A little bit going on today. The big story on the internet I see for Canada was Bill C-34. Bill C-34, and it's generating a lot of reaction. Let's see what it is. Bill C-34. It creates a social media ban. This is from the Liberal government. Creates a social media ban for Canadians under 16 at the expense of all Canadians' privacy, according to the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms. I think these guys did a lot of COVID stuff too, so they're right on top of this. Sections 26, 27, and 27.2 of Bill C-34 require that affected social media platforms implement age verification and age estimation measures designed to prevent a person under the age of 16 from being able to have an account with or otherwise registered with social media platforms. Like, I don't think kids should be on social media. It's probably not healthy. I wish I wasn't on social media, to be honest. So I think it's a good idea, but they're not. The government will screw it up. They're obviously got I think they have other motives. Like, if you ban kids under 16, you're going to need to know everybody's ID. Because how are you going to ban the kids if you don't know everybody, you know? That sounds fishy. Bill C-34 requires that such measures must provide for the protection and eventual destruction of personal information that is collected for age verification or age estimation purposes. So basically, if I put my ID on to prove my age, they'll hold it for a few weeks or months and then get rid of it. That's the idea. I don't believe that. It's not yet clear how this will be accomplished. What is clear is that these measures must be effective. Users commonly verify their age by submitting a government-issued ID, such as driver's license or passports, and the technology exists for social media platforms to estimate the ages of users through biometric data, facial geometry, eye shape, skin elasticity, hairline, etc. Jeez. They could tell you how old you are and everything. With the picture, that's pretty crazy. The age verification and age estimation monitoring will not be limited to Canadians under 16. For social media platforms to determine access eligibility for any user, platforms will platforms will have to evaluate the access eligibility of every user. The goal of BC-34 is not merely to remove Canadians under 16 from affected social media platforms, but to keep them off those platforms. To achieve this goal, social media platforms may be compelled to adopt ongoing age verification estimation measures to ensure continued compliance. However, affected social media platforms satisfy these requirements. Bill C-34 fundamentally reimagines how all Canadians access social media. Okay. So basically, if you want to have like your account and you want to do this, you have to surrender all this stuff. So a lot of reaction. So here's another one. Bill C-34 is not just about child safety. It's about who decides how children navigate the internet, parents or the state. Yeah, I don't really trust the government. I'm sure when they say we want to help your kids, I don't really trust that. Social media bans displace parental authority, but the less Ottawa relies on parents, the more it must rely on age verification, age estimation, and surveillance to enforce the ban. The more it relies on these tools, the greater the privacy cost to all Canadians. All right. So a lot of reaction. Bill C-34 is worse than I expected. It would create a digital safety commission with the power. Digital safety commission. That doesn't sound good. With the power to force social media companies and AI chat services to censor the speech of adults. I explain why I'm concerned below. All right. Let's see what he says. Oh no.
And social media would need... The Carney government's new Safe Social Media Act, Bill C-34, may be the biggest threat to free speech in decades. The bill would not only ban kids under 16 from accessing social media, it would also create a digital safety commission with the power to force social media companies and AI chat services to censor the speech of adults. The Digital Safety Commission would enforce duties to act responsibly by mitigating the risk that Canadians are exposed to harmful content. This means if companies don't censor enough speech, they could face huge fines. If an AI chatbot thinks your ideas are harmful, it wouldn't be allowed to consider them when responding to requests, and social media would need to censor your opinions if they're considered harmful. That might sound fine until you realize that this includes so-called hate speech, which is a very subjective concept. According to the Supreme Court of Canada, hate speech includes, for example, alleging that a group is plotting to destroy Western civilization. But what if a group is plotting to destroy Western civilization? Shouldn't you be able to say that? Should the AI really be forced to not tell you that? The court has said also that hate speech includes, for example, delegitimizing a targeted group by suggesting its members are illegal or unlawful. Well, does this mean you wouldn't be able to advocate for banning people from certain countries if they pose a safety risk to Canadians? Another sign of hatred, according to the court, is expression that equates the targeted group with groups that are reviled in society, like child abusers. So what if you equate medical gender transition for children to child abuse, which many people do? You could expect to be censored under this new law. Social media companies already have the tools that they need to filter out speech that we don't want to hear, and AI companies already build in safety protections. We don't need a government regulator sitting in Ottawa censoring our speech. So if you agree and you oppose this bill, I encourage you to go to the ccf.ca/stopc34 and sign our petition to stop this bill.
All right, so he's I agree. Like, they're gonna say they're protecting children, and then they'll start getting into all sorts of censorship, like with all their new hate speech laws coming. It all meld together. Let's see where. Some more reaction here. This Mark Miller, the guy in charge of our culture, the culture minister, and he's in charge of the internet, I guess. Scary, I know. When asked which pornography sites would be covered by Bill C-34, Minister Mark Miller declined to specify, saying not all porn sites would be included. I guess porn sites are social media. Do you want me to talk about my experience with porn sites? I don't think I'll fall into that. Let's see what he says here.
The ones that fall into the category of. Do you want me to talk to you about my experience with porn sites?
Oh God! This guy thinks he's funny.
I don't think I'll fall into that trap necessarily, but I think that it isn't. This isn't about, first and foremost, regulating the internet. There are certain sites that are pornographic where user content can be uploaded publicly, and it would be those that would be covered by the ambit of it. It isn't all porn sites, but principally the ones that fall into the category of social media, where users can interact and upload.
So I guess that includes OnlyFans?
Offensive under the 7 broad categories that I enumerated or enumerated inside the Act.
All right.
Do you want me to?
Minister Miller, can you clarify in regards to what you just said in terms of the timing, how this bill works? There's the possibility that no companies will be banned. Given that you have not passed the bill, it would take, is it 18 months from royal assent before a regulator is created? Is it as soon as the bill gets royal assent, does the social media ban come in place? I think that's what my colleague was referring to. Will a social media ban take place before a regulator sets the exemptions? Or are you giving the regulator 18 months so that companies, these big tech companies, can actually catch up? So you are actually giving them the opportunity, I guess, as you say, to be safe by design as opposed to imposing
Yeah,
a
this
ban.
sounds horrible.
They
Like it's
have
going to work perfect.
Judy, take the appropriate measures to limit kids under 16 from opening social media accounts as soon as the law comes into force. That's clear. Then you can see that in the law. The exemptions is a process whereby they would have to demonstrate that they are safe by design, and that will be the process of compliance that they will enter into with the commission as it gets phased up. Is that on
Digital
month
commission.
18? I would think that as the commission establishes its priorities, that would be one of the first ones, ensuring proper compliance with the law in the case of egregious breaches of it.
The fact that they're doing a commission, a digital commission, basically it's going to run the internet for Canadians. That doesn't sound good at all. Like, I know they're saying, oh, it's not just to keep kids off the internet, though. It sounds like they're going to do a lot more.
So as soon as this bill gets royal assent, this social media ban for kids under 16 comes in place, and all big tech companies, social media companies, will have to have that age verification in place.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, sorry,
That's
and then
not
I
a
just
second
want to
We're gonna have to
clarify.
speed this up, but-
Okay,
Give her another question because I just answered it twice. So.
okay. And given the state of negotiations with the U.S., how can Canadians be confident that this bill will be prioritized, that your government
all right.
will pass this bill quickly? I'm thinking of the Online Streaming Act. I'm thinking about the Digital Services Act that was pulled. How can we be confident that under U.S. pressure that this government won't fold?
There's no law that's been pulled, to be clear, but this is a law about protecting kids, and the priority is to protect kids in Canada. I think if you want to, that's not something you trade for. If you look at legislators on both sides of the political spectrum in Canada and in the U.S., I think everyone's on the same page as that.
All right. So basically, this digital commission that they're creating sounds really fishy. I don't like it. Let's see. Like, look, you got this commission. The cabinet is going to get all these new powers on regulating the internet. And this new commission, like, it's crazy. An internet commission. It sounds so commune. It's so Bolshevik. So basically, they want to regulate the internet for us. They've been saying this for a while. All right. So then you got the hate speech stuff coming and all that. So it's just all going to meld together. C-34, protecting the kids. I don't really trust them to protect the kids, to be honest. I don't trust them. Just like with COVID, just like with the LGBT, whatever. I don't trust them. All right, let's go. Keep going here. Okay, this is one. I read this today. Saskatchewan today. Saskatchewan. But it's the same all over Canada, so that's why I want. Prince Albert, a 22-year-old man who goes by the single name Partik, will be deported to India after serving a 7-year prison sentence for trafficking what police say is the largest quantity of fentanyl ever reported in the city. Like, a lot of these Indians are into the fentanyl trafficking. And that's horrible. Like, people die. A lot of people die from fentanyl. So we don't want any of that, these guys here. So provincial court in Prince Albert heard that Canadian Border Services had already obtained a removal order for Partik, who came to Canada from India on a study permit. Shocking. In 2022. His application for asylum has been rejected by the federal government. He applied for asylum? This fentanyl trafficker applied for asylum. That's hilarious. So they rejected his asylum application. That's a good thing. Judge Jeffrey Lubick sentenced Partik to 7 years in prison for fentanyl trafficking. 4 years, like in the States, he would have got life. Okay. So they say he's gonna get deported after these 7 years, but the guy comes here on a student permit and becomes a fentanyl trafficker. Like, the student thing is ridiculous in Canada, the student permits. Now they're getting through the Tim Hortons. You know, I saw all these fast food places still opening in Sarnia. It's to bring more people in. I don't think they care about the business. I think they just use it for the temporary workers. All right, next. BC taxpayers left with $200 million in unpaid medical bills by foreigners. Sounds like a lot. That's a lot, actually, for a province. So, this Ben Rabideau says, I would wager a large sum of that good chunk is from birth tourism. People come in here to deliver babies and birthright citizenship. Yeah, I heard that in BC. All the maternity wards are foreigners from India. It's crazy. And, you know, we let ourselves get taken advantage. Oh, 200 million here, 200 million there, $1 billion there. That shit adds up. Next. It's all India so far, jeez. Surprise, surprise. This one I missed the other day, but it's whack. Durham College employee Manu Suganamakumar, 23, charged after allegedly luring two girls aged 12 and 13 online. Police allege he's communicated with the girls through Snapchat and Reddit and is facing multiple charges. So yeah, another student visa guy. I don't know how he got a job at Durham College. Like, they don't hire Canadians, I guess. He was probably one of those virtue signaling hires. Like, oh look, we're not racist. We hired an Indian who probably doesn't speak English, and he's luring girls. Yes, we need to deport. Like, this is ridiculous. Come on, guys. Why are we bringing all these dudes here? These single Indian dudes. This is ridiculous. All right. Next. We're talking about Ireland last couple days. Yesterday. I don't know what's going on. They said they're planning a bunch of protests in the UK for the weekend, so tomorrow. So we'll see. But it's interesting because in Canada we're in the same kind of discussion about immigration. So I think UK is always a little bit ahead of us. And I like what this caller said about the people's reaction.
Remain.
Okay.
This country will remain almost ungovernable until we have mass deportations. I mean, we consistently voted Conservative. We voted for Brexit. The politicians just seem to turn around, throw it all back in our faces and say, here you go, have record levels of immigration.
Canada, that's
and
Canada too.
The very base of this whole thing, that is this problem. Just a massive disconnect between the political class and the people of this country who have never given any consent
Canada
to this.
too.
And there's certainly no mandate for the scale of immigration we're seeing into this country.
But you can't go as far as certainly Restore have gone, and indeed Reform have gone, I think, too far on this too, to deport people who are here perfectly legally.
Oh, yeah.
You mean end indefinite leave to remain?
Well, you can do that for future people, but you can't do that for people who've already got it. I mean, that would be outrageous, surely.
Well, you can, yeah, of course you can. We can do it.
So people who are here perfectly legally, you think should be deported. From a basic humanity point of view, from a fairness point of view, you can't suddenly tell people who've got a perfect legal right to be here that, oh, we're changing the rules now, so you'll have to go. I mean, that you cannot do that.
You can, Ian.
Well, you can do that, but is that really the kind of country you want to live in?
Yes.
Yes. Interesting stuff going on over in the UK. Next, here's Mark Miller again. Introducing the Safe Social Media Act. The government of Canada is banning kids under 16 from social media platforms. More government control over our lives is being ushered in under the guise of safety. This entire announcement was filled with nothing but endless fear, clearly to convince Canadians that this is a good idea. Parenting be damned.
In this country can be safe on platforms they use every day. Changes to the criminal code to prosecute the harm once it's occurred, to sue people, but the damage is done. This is unacceptable. We're failing our children. Enough is enough. Our parents cannot face these challenges alone, and the safety of children can't be an afterthought. We need basic protection in place so every child in this country can be safe on platforms they use every day. This is why we are introducing the Safe Social Media Act. The Act will establish a minimum age of 16 to have a social media account. The Act will require social media platforms and AI chatbot services to do more to protect children and make their platforms safe by design. Social media and AI chat platforms will have a responsibility to protect children from harmful content, including content that promotes self-harm, sexual exploitation, violence, hatred, bullying, or the non-consensual sharing of intimate images. Social media services will have to remove, within 24 hours, content that sexually victimizes a child or shares intimate content without consent, including sexually explicit deepfakes. And AI chatbot services will be required to mitigate the risk of chatbot communicating harmful content that have clear protocols in place when a user expresses an intention to harm themselves or others. They too will have to be safe by design. Platforms will have to be transparent and accountable to Canadians and submit publicly disclosed digital safety plans to the Digital Safety Commission.
The Digital Safety Commission.
The measures in this bill represent, in my view, the basic expectation that parents and Canadians for keeping their kids safe online. I believe all parties should agree on the importance of these minimum safeguards.
Anyway, I mean, it all sounds good. You're trying to protect kids, but I don't know. I don't trust them, these guys. I don't trust them. We'll see. Next. There's another good post on Ireland and immigration in general. The state enforces the settlement of third worlders to replace the natives. The state slanders, intimidates, and jails those who speak out against it. The state deploys military force to crush the natives who take their desperation to the streets. Is this a democracy? Yeah, it's like you can't. You voted against it, and they still do it, and then you take to the streets, and then they water cannon you. It doesn't sound like democracy. I'm sure they water cannon us here in Canada too. Look at that water or police. Oh, there's the water. That shit hurts too. Water, high pressure. All right, next. Let's look at this.
Even from criminals coming in from...
The only word I can put to it is treason.
Why is our government enabling this? A lack of basic vetting, even from criminals coming in from all over the world to Canada.
You'll have to ask the government, because the only word I can put to it is treason. that it's actually focused on getting themselves re-elected, staying in power, but not for the benefit of Canadians, but for the benefit of themselves. And I simply can find no other reason in my mind why we would let 1.1 million people come into a country when we knowingly couldn't support that level of immigration, and in particular the groups that were immigrating.
Yeah.
The only
Who's this? I don't even know who this is. Okay, I saw this video yesterday. It's this black guy in Ireland, and there's mobs out there. They're on a rampage, and he thought he's gonna do his nice little TikTok video, and they'll just go around him or something. And I seen a lot of videos of like these black guys on YouTube trying to get clicks by like blocking the subway door, and the white people are just standing there nice and obedient. Or the one guy, he was blocking the the escalator so people couldn't go up the escalator in the metro in London, and it's a tall escalator. Like a lot of people don't wait, they walk up. So in every video, the guy, the people, mostly white people, are like just don't want to cause problem, and just like wait till the guy's off or guys gets out of their way. But this guy was thinking the same thing, and there's like literally a mass mob behind him, and it didn't work out the same. This is funny. Boom! Oh. And then he gets his bike and get the hell out. Just as he's playing the Tupac, it's hilarious. Okay. I mean, what'd you expect, man? Boom. All right. He thought they were gonna walk around him nice and polite. That's the joke. All right. Oh, this is funny. I saw this today, and this is kind of this video. It shows how downhill Toronto's gone. It's just a DEI cesspool. Horrible. The city I was born in, it's gone to this level. So they want to stop people from smoking crack and doing bad stuff on the subway. So they have like, I don't know, a subway assistance messenger. So basically, you open a safe TTC app, report somebody smoking crack or walking around with their pants off, and then the transit control responds with a real-time announcement directly on the platform. And they basically saying, stop smoking crack, please. Yeah. This is Toronto. The subway looks like crap, too. All right, listen to this.
We're
this
here
is hilarious.
Today to talk about the system-wide launch of the TTC's Subway Assistant Management Program, SAM for short, which has been piloted at Kennedy since April and is now being rolled out to the entire transit system. SAM is a real-time monitoring tool that extends our eyes and ears across the system. Our officers can't be everywhere. SAM helps bridge that gap. Using TTC's camera and PA system, transit control staff can now spot antisocial behavior, or unsafe behavior like loitering or vandalism, to tell rule breakers to stop what they're doing, and if they don't, dispatch law enforcement. And just to show everyone how this works, I'm just going to do a quick demo. Fort, do you want to pretend to smoke your cigarette for us, please?
Hang on.
Okay, so I spot Fort Monaco, the rule breaker. I'm going to take my Safe TTC app, report him.
Report him.
Control. And then we'll see what happens.
Attention customers at Kennedy Station. This is the Transit Control Center. Stop smoking immediately. You are being recorded.
Oh, that'll show them.
Special constables will be dispatched if you do not comply.
That'll show them.
So
the crackheads will
SAM
just
is, of course, the latest innovation that we've been rolling out at the TTC to make sure you feel safe and protected when you're...
Yeah, I'll feel safe. Someone's stabbing me. Better message the subway assistance messenger. No, I don't know. I mean, look. It's good that they're trying, I suppose. I don't think that's going to work. All right. Next one. There should be Nuremberg trials, but for those responsible for the atrocities of mass migration. Yes. Yes. We got to hold some people accountable. Okay. Here's the patterns now set. This is talking about the immigration issue. Atrocity committed. So that's the guy trying to cut the guy's head off. Condemn in the weakest terms possible. Calls for calm. Angry scenes. Family of victim used. Full force of the law. New laws limiting everyone's freedom. Ignore problem that caused the original atrocity. So yeah, that's the way it goes. Okay, we'll see how it. See if the Irish keep going. The rest of the UK too. They're pretty pissed off. They're a little ahead of us, I think, in the fatigue level for immigration. They're a little ahead of us, so it'll be interesting to see. I like this one. Do you feel it? The left has lost a weapon. For decades, the left could destroy a person if they called them racist. It's true, man. It's like kryptonite. They used the word racist to ruin, silence, and get whatever they wanted. Not anymore. People are standing up, no longer afraid. This is a massive change. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But if you were called, man, last 20 years, if you were called racist, it was over. You're done. You were like Mark Furman from OJ. Now, everybody's racist. They call everybody racist, so it doesn't matter. All right. I like this one. You think Rupert Lowe is radical? Rupert Lowe is the leader of Restore Britain, which I wish, we should have a Restore Canada party. I know we have PPC anyway. You think Rupert Lowe is radical? He's just a moderate alternative. Just wait until you see those who come after Rupert Lowe. During the 2030s, the millennials and Gen Zs who are radical as fuck are holding a lot of voting power. They'll make Rupert look like the liberal centrist. So yeah, Rupert Lowe he talks like, he says some good stuff like we're going to deport millions and millions must go, all this and that. And they're like, he's a Nazi, he's a fascist, but he is the moderate. Compared to what's after him, he's the moderate. Yeah, I agree. All right. Here's more on the Bill C-34. Social media posts deemed to undermine social stability would be subject to blocking orders by a federal censor under Bill C-34. Federal censor. Introduced yesterday. The law applies as soon as it comes into force. So, I don't know. They said they were talking about banning it for kids. I don't know what this is all about. Let's see if a grok will explain it to me. Explain this, grok. All right. So they want to ban it to kids. I don't know what has to do with kids. This. Bill C-34 empowers new Digital Safety Commission. This Digital Safety Commission. Do you think they're just going to sit around and worry about, like, oh, does this kid have ID? No, they're going to do other stuff. Bill C-34 empowers new Digital Safety Commission to block social media posts deemed to undermine political, economic, or social stability. The legislation presented as child protection includes broad content removal powers and takes effect immediately upon passage. Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all. Post has fueled online criticism focusing on free speech concerns and who defines what threatens stability. Like Mark Miller? That's the last. This guy's going to be in charge of the internet. Him and the digital Safety Commission, the DST. They'll be breaking down your door. This is the DST. All right. Here's another interesting post. Canada governed by the greatest in incompetence. Is governed by the greatest incompetence. The government of Canada is so competent that they can easily keep foreign criminals roaming the streets of your community. They can easily find it impossible to track down violent foreign criminals and illegals or secure our borders. I don't know what he's saying. But anyway, he's highlighting this. This is crazy. There's 577,000 deportation cases, including more than 5,500 convicted criminals. So a lot of those people are just people that have to leave. And about 5,500 are actually like criminals. And it says the Canadian Border Service Agency is struggling to deport over 500,000 individuals who have no right to be in Canada. Like, they're going to... That's probably because they're going to probably give them amnesty. They need to deport them. That's a lot of people. They got to work on that. Globe and Mail. Seniors are the largest, fastest growing homeless population in Canada. It's a collective shame upon our country. So, I didn't know that. Seniors homeless. More homeless seniors. Yeah. Third world Canada. Okay. There's the Ottawa moves to ban social media use for kids under 16. I'm just going to read the article. I want to see if there's anything new that I missed. I don't like this Digital Safety Commission. It sounds like it's a monster that once you create it, you never get rid of it. The hell's a Digital Safety Commission? So, okay. Anyway. So they're talking about this. The article's talking just about the ban for kids. But I'm sure they'll be doing other sneaky stuff too. All right. In Ontario news, the latest poll shows Doug Ford's approval rating at its lowest level since he first took office in 2018. Latest Angus Reid data shows a 10-point drop from down to 21% approval. So, he's the most unpopular premier in Canada. I knew this 5 years ago with his COVID BS and his woke. He supports all the woke crap because he's a coward. And then now the immigration stuff he supported. So yeah, horrible premier. I wonder when he's been there like 8-9 years now. He's a traitor. The damage he has done to Ontario and Canada is beyond words, beyond measure. So yeah, I mean, no surprise there. I'm sure he'll be resigning soon enough. They'll just replace him with another useless traitor. Okay. This is a good post. Exactly what I've been saying. I like to read posts sometimes that kind of read my mind, so I don't have to think about it. This one, Carney. Canada's immigration problem isn't just about numbers. It has a severe favoritism problem with choosing India. It's also about who's being let in and why. When one country like India dominates the intake stats year after year, that's not a coincidence. That's policy and favoritism. India has held the top spot for Canadian immigration for years running and by a massive gap over everyone else. That's not a balanced system. A fair immigration policy spreads opportunity across the world. But what we have instead looks like a system that's been quietly tilted in one direction. Canadians deserve to ask why, and they deserve a straight answer. Like, I've been saying that. It's way too weighted for India. I have no idea why. It's not like, it's just horrible. All right, here's more reaction to Bill C-34. Bill C-34 is designed to implement digital IDs. It has nothing to do with protecting children. This coming from the same people that support child mutilation. It's all about control. Yes. Okay, I think we read this one already. Stopping C-34, the Safe Social Media Act, is the hill to die on. It would create a massive censorship bureaucracy that would moderate all content on the Canadian internet, putting us on par with China. The 16-year-old ban is peanuts compared to the other things in this bill. Yeah, this Digital Safety Commission, that's the one I don't like the sound of that at all. All right, next there's Rupert Lowe again. Britain doesn't have a racism problem, it has an immigration problem. Yes, and I said Canada too. We weren't allowed to talk about immigration at all, like last 20 years. Even if you said, hey, hang on, maybe it's not a great idea to be importing all these millions of Indians to Canada, you couldn't say that. You were like, why are you so racist? So they treated it like a racism problem. It's an immigration problem. What, you're not allowed to discuss? Hey, maybe this is not such a great idea. All right. And this is a horrible story here in Toronto. A police officer was shot. He was doing a warrant on, I guess, the suspect who shot at the U.S. consulate back a few months ago. So he was, they were serving a warrant and the kid shot him. Someone shot him, killed him. Horrible. And it ties into immigration because the kid who shot him, I don't know, he was suspected of shooting at synagogues and the U.S. consulate. Like, it's again, they bring all these people in. We talk about the Indians and the Calistanis, and they fight. They bring their issues and their fights here. But it's the Muslims and the Jews too. They bring their arguments over here. And a police officer now, a Toronto police officer, is dead because of it. But that's why, when you have this multicultural society, it's not good. That's Mark Carney saying. So I'm sure the family appreciates your thoughts and prayers, but this appears to be terrorism related. The previous Liberal government flooded this country with unvetted migrants. What tangible steps will you take to weed out these terrorists and deport all who have overstayed visas? Yeah, the cops are going to be pissed. Now, they're not going to be worried about being racist. I think I saw a picture of the kid. Okay. So here's Toronto Police Constable Mark Pinizzotto, ETF member, killed in the line of duty during exchange of gun for an early morning search warrant in North York. 19-year-old Zara Jabi is wanted. They wanted on a warrant connected to the U.S. consulate shooting, which was directed by, they say it was directed by this terrorist organization. So, yeah. Pretty crazy. But yeah, Zara Jabi. We got just all sorts of groups here. And this is going to happen more and more. We talk about all these other things going on. We don't never talk about Canada. It's all these foreign conflicts. There's Jeremy McKenzie. Weak men are the most dangerous people you'll encounter in life. I agree with that. I feel like I'm surrounded. And they are dangerous. Very dangerous. Next. This is another interesting thing about the under 16 social media thing is it's happening in like it's being proposed in all the Western countries like New Zealand, Australia, UK, Canada now. Just like COVID, they did the same script. Just like the script with the immigration. Now it's a script with this. It's suspicious, very suspicious. I'm ready just to get right off social media myself, 100%. Why not? We might not have a choice the way it's going here, but I can live without it. I grew up without it, so I'm not worried about it. But if they kick me off it, I can handle it. I don't need it. I'll go raise some chickens. All right, here's this guy again from whatever the constitutional group. Bill C-34 may be the greatest threat to free speech in decades. We all support keeping kids safe, but the bill would give bureaucrats in Ottawa the power to police adult speech on social media and, shockingly, in artificial intelligence. Yeah, it's weird. Okay. Yeah, this Digital Safety Commission business is very suspicious. And you know the government, they'll just make it. They say they're going to do something, and then they just make it 10 times worse. So, here's according to Blacklocks, Bill C-34 would appoint Digital Safety Commission with powers. That's Digital Safety Commission. They'll be knocking on your door. With powers to order Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and other social media platforms to remove categories of harmful content, including posts deemed violent extremism. Bill defines violent extremism as an act that causes property damage that is committed for a political, religious, or ideological purpose. I don't know how you can have property damage online, but such as undermining, weakening, or destroying fundamental institutions or political, economic, or social stability. I don't know. It sounds whacked. All right. More garbage dumpers in Ontario, of course. It should be a long summer for that. Okay, this is the kid. This is the shooter. Zara Jabi for the Toronto cop. Toronto police officer murdered, additional suspect identified. Zara Jabi wanted in connection with the shooting that took place this morning that left one Toronto police officer dead. So yeah, this is what we're importing into Canada. Cop killers. I wonder what his story is here. They're gonna. Looks like they're trying to blame Iran, but I don't think Iran wants to kill Toronto cops. It's maybe when they busted in, he started firing because he's not that smart. But anyway, it'll be we'll see what his story is once I catch him. All right. Condolences to the family. That sucks. No punk. Condolences to the family of the cop, not this guy. Next, remember when the government tells you they are doing something to keep kids safe, you know they are 100% full of shit and people are about to lose more freedoms and rights. Yes. I agree. That seems to be the consensus on this. Anything really that Mark Miller does. The guy who let in millions of, as the immigration minister, he let in millions of like sex pests and perverts and rapists, wannabes. And he's worried about keeping kids safe. What a guy. All right. And the last story, which is kind of got a local angle. The Indian consulate has issued, here's our beaches. Indian consulate issues water safety alert to international students following drownings So yeah, we have lakes here. We're the Great Lakes, and that's like the apex predator for Indians. Because I've seen so many videos of Indians like drowning in 10 feet of water, or getting caught in a current when their friends just sit there and like. So it was bound to happen in Canada. Indian consulate issues. So, yeah, they're worried about the Indians drowning, which is a very real possibility. We got a lot of water here. I'm even scared of the water. If you go to our lake, it looks Lake Huron. It looks very nice and calm, but no, man, you go a little out, you're done. It could take you. A lot of people have died in our Lake Huron. A rise in drownings has prompted the Consulate General of India in Toronto to issue a safety advisory this week. I shouldn't laugh. With international students specifically mentioned. The consulate has been receiving increasing number of drowning cases of Indian nationals in Canada. See, I did not know this. The notice posted to the organized Indian nationals, particularly Indian international students, are advised to exercise extreme precaution while visiting lakes, rivers, beaches, and other water bodies. The organization is encouraging Indian nationals to follow all safety instructions, avoid entering unfamiliar or unsafe waters, and wear life jackets where required or recommended. Earlier this month, the body of a 22-year-old from Nepal, located in South Asia, just north of India, was pulled from the waters of Lake Huron. The individual went missing at the Pinery Provincial Park. Yeah, just right up here. It's dangerous. You gotta be careful. You gotta respect the lake. So yeah, the lake's getting the Indians. You gotta be careful. The lake will get you. Okay. That's it for tonight. Hot one today. Holy shit. The next broadcast. What day is it today? Ooh. June 15th. Monday, June 15th. I'm sure a lot will happen until over the weekend for us to talk about. So, be careful swimming. It's going to be a hot one this weekend. Go to the beach. So, until Monday, everybody have a nice weekend. Let's try to stay cool, too.